Welcome to the Chronicles of Lost Relations. I cast my eyes toward my bare ring finger, letting out a sigh. This is truly a disaster. I whisper to myself, envisioning the years unfolding before me. Is this truly what you desire from me, Ben? I call out to the vacant space, partly in jest, yet already envisioning a future as the archetypal eccentric cat enthusiast, enveloped by an abundance of furry companions and takeout boxes. Zoom ahead to the evening of camaraderie at Nancy's abode. Warm and inviting, with wine pouring generously, soft melodies creating an atmosphere, and guests lounging comfortably on Nancy's luxurious sectional. Nestled in my cozy nook, I cradle my second glass of Merlot as the dialogue transitions from workplace chatter to the ever-familiar tales of romance. So, how are things going with Ben? Maria inquires, curling her feet beneath her and giving me an inquisitive glance. Have you chosen a date yet? I gently swirl the wine in my glass, observing the rich crimson shimmer as it catches the light. Oh, it's perfectly all right. He is in a stable condition. The word escapes my lips, and I can sense its dullness echoing in the air. Nancy arches an eyebrow, casting a glance that blends sympathy with a hint of skepticism. Consistent? That doesn't seem particularly exciting. I lean in closer, softening my tone despite the fact that it's only the two of us. Well, I remark with a wry smile, he's not precisely the adventurous type, if you catch my drift. Nothing compares to what Alistair was. Nancy's eyes sparkle with curiosity. Alistair, the fitness coach? Wow, that guy was truly one of a kind. A smile spreads across my face as memories rush in. Do you recall that time we were discovered wandering through the gym after it had closed? Amidst the laughter, I simply shake my head. However, Ben, let's just say the most adventurous idea he's ever proposed was keeping the bedroom light on. Laughter erupted among us, the wine enhancing the hilarity of the moment. And let's not even dive into the differences in equipment, I say, rolling my eyes with exaggerated flair. Alistair, those workout shorts certainly revealed quite a bit. Is it Ben's? Let's just say he's operating with a more streamlined approach. Laughter erupts more frequently, and it feels unexpectedly liberating to express everything, even if I'm aware that I might be revealing too much. Isn't that the purpose of a girl's night, though? What made you agree when he popped the question? Maria inquired, as she filled her glass with more wine. I lift my glass, signaling for a refill with a casual shrug. He's a decent fellow, wouldn't you agree? Has a steady position, possesses his own home, genuinely desires to establish roots. And, truth be told, time isn't on my side. I take another sip of wine, attempting to project a confidence I don't quite possess. Alistair with a lot of fun, but is he really the right choice for a long-term partner? Not quite. At times, practicality is essential. So, you made your choice, Nancy says, offering me that familiar glance that cuts a bit too close to reality. I wouldn't describe it as settled, precisely. Even I can detect the uncertainty in my tone. All right, perhaps just a tad. I concede, chuckling it away. Isn't that the essence of maturing, though? Exchanging thrill for stability. The discussion shifts to Maria's most recent Tinder mishap, yet my thoughts remain fixated on my previous words. I'm content with Ben. He's kind, dependable, and he cares for me deeply. Indeed, our connection may not be as thrilling as it once was, and perhaps the excitement has dulled over time. But isn't that just a part of life? Compromise is a universal experience. At that moment, a soft creak echoes from the doorway. I turn, catching sight of Ben, who appears as if he's stumbled upon a scene of utter chaos. My stomach sinks. I recall him saying he left his laptop charger here, but I wasn't aware he would stop by to retrieve it this evening. He's looking directly at me, and his face reveals that he caught every word. My hand paused on the doorknob as laughter floated through the door. I remained frozen, absorbing the sound of Monica's voice as she divulged personal aspects of our relationship to her friends. Every word struck like a blow, drawing comparisons to her former partner, mocking our intimate moments, and ultimately delivering the most devastating hit of all, that she had chosen me as the reliable option. I took a step back, sensing a disorienting shift in the ground below me. As I turned and stepped outside, the chill of the night air enveloped me, leaving me numb to the fact that I had forgotten the laptop charger. Thoughts surged through my mind, revisiting our relationship with a fresh, disquieting lens. Each recollection now shaded with uncertainty. As I stepped into the familiar sports bar down the street, Buzz, the bartender, acknowledged me with a nod as I settled into my regular seat. The usual, Ben? Let's have two of those. As I sipped the whiskey, two thoughts lingered, each one piercing deeper than the one before. Initially, the harshness of her words shattered my trust, and then there was the persistent question that lingered. If I was her safe option, was she truly the right option for me? She didn't merely make light of our sex life. She divulged personal, private details that ought to have remained between us. This crossed the line from playful banter. It felt like a deep violation of the trust that I believed was the foundation of any partnership. Yet it was the subsequent reflection that rendered me feeling empty. I had always trusted Monica completely, never once thought she would seek affection beyond our bond. However, this evening, listening to her speak of her past relationship, her yearning for the excitement I seemingly didn't provide, it was difficult to ignore a recurring theme. The mathematics was clear-cut. If she sensed she had become complacent and longed for that excitement, what would hold her back from pursuing it if the chance presented itself? The logical aspect of my thinking presented it as if it were a straightforward report. She revealed to her friends that she had chosen stability over excitement. If she genuinely thought she had settled for something less, what would prevent her from ultimately yearning for the excitement she claimed to long for? I looked at my empty glass, hardly aware that I had drained it completely. Buzz, the bartender, approached with a furrowed brow, his expression revealing worry. "Is everything all right? Is that you, Ben?" The words escaped my lips before I had a chance to hold them back. I just discovered that my fiancé feels she has settled for me. As I voiced those words, the gravity of the situation struck me more profoundly than I anticipated. I savored the whiskey Buzz poured, allowing its sharpness to echo the bite of her words. "Do you know what truly bothers me?" I remarked, gazing at Buzz. She claimed I was the reliable, mundane option, the one she had chosen because the adventurous types wouldn't make a commitment. "It feels as though I'm merely the fallback choice." Buzz shook his head, a look of understanding on his face. "That sounds tough, my friend. The question is, what actions will you take in response?" And that was the question that held all the value. Not only had she shattered my trust by divulging personal details, but she had also laid bare her true feelings about our relationship for me to see up close. How do you recover after discovering you're merely a backup option for someone? That you possess the qualities to succeed, yet fall short in some way? Once more my phone vibrated. Yet another note from Monica. "Well, might you be feeling a sense of concern? Is everything all right? Reach out to me once you receive this." I gazed at the screen, my mind a chaotic web of ideas. Did she truly care for my well-being, or was she merely anxious about losing her sense of security? The man who fulfilled the necessary criteria, yet left her yearning for something deeper. As my thoughts swirled, I shook my head, sensing the heaviness of it all take hold. "Do you know what truly fascinates me, Buzz?" I whispered under my breath. Buzz leaned in, eager to absorb every word. "I genuinely believed we were in this together. I believe we share the same desires." I placed my glass on the table, locking eyes with Buzz's unwavering stare. "It's not solely about the specifics," she revealed. It's as if she openly showcased her discontent to her friends, akin to putting up a sign inviting better opportunities. Buzz, immersed in the task of polishing glasses, gave a subtle nod. "I have spent 2 decades behind the bar. I've witnessed numerous relationships dissolve because one person chose to settle. It typically unfolds in one of 2 directions. They tend to depart when a more appealing option arises or remain, resulting in unhappiness for both parties." I acknowledged, allowing his words to resonate within me. This was not a matter of insecurity or an overreaction. It centered around truths. Monica had just revealed to her friends that she wasn't entirely devoted to me, that she had settled for the safe option. It transformed everything. I set down my drink and rose, enveloped by a serene tranquility. This was not an issue I could easily dismiss or act as if I hadn't acknowledged. We had to have a conversation, and I had to prepare myself for her to dismiss it as mere casual chatter. But that excuse no longer sufficed. "Thank you, Buzz," I remarked, ensuring I left sufficient cash for my beverages along with a hearty gratuity. I faced the door, preparing for the dialogue that awaited me. I stand still, thoughts swirling, yet I attempt to maintain my composure. What sounds would reach your ears? He simply observes me, a serenity in his eyes that feels even more unsettling than rage. "I overheard you sharing with your friends that I'm your reliable option, that you long for the excitement you experienced with your previous partner, and so on." To be honest, Monica, I was utterly astonished by what I was hearing. A pallor washes over me. Thoughts race through my mind, searching for the right words to downplay it as mere amusement. Yet his gaze halts me in my tracks. He's not inclined to entertain any excuses. "Ben, it was merely a conversation among friends," I start, managing a faint smile. "You're familiar with the experience. We embellish a bit, simply to bring some joy to one another. Let's chat, ladies. Amplify." He shakes his head, releasing a sound that echoes emptiness. "You weren't merely joking, Monica. You essentially conveyed that I was your fallback, the reliable choice because the more thrilling options weren't suitable for marriage. You clearly articulated the reasons why I fall short of your expectations." I start to speak up, but deep down, I realize he has a point. I was expressing my frustrations, yet perhaps it was deeper than that. His voice takes on a gentle quality, yet an underlying toughness remains. "If I'm just the fallback option, Monica, I have a right to be informed. I refuse to be in a relationship where I am merely a fallback option for someone." A wave of shame washes over me as I lower my gaze. I never imagined he would truly listen to my words, but now that he has, I confront the reality I had been avoiding. I sought stability, indeed, but was it worth sacrificing my happiness? And what about his? As I gaze upwards, his expression is resolute, as if a decision has already been made. His expression remains unyielding. Indeed, he appears more determined than ever, a tranquility I rarely observe in him. "Absolutely not, Monica. I honestly don't believe I understand what you were trying to convey." My frustration begins to rise. I was expressing my frustrations, Ben, simply releasing some tension. It doesn't imply that my feelings for you have diminished, or that I don't desire your company. Sometimes, everyone requires a bit of an escape, don't you think? Yet he shakes his head, his gaze steady and resolute. "A source is one thing. Yet the words you spoke," he hesitates, and his tone softens. "It feels as though you view me as the reliable option, the middle ground. Perhaps you might not recognize it, but that certainly isn't a solid basis for a joyful union." I exhaled deeply, my eyes drifting upward in exasperation. Are we truly going to let this become a deal breaker? Did you catch a snippet of a conversation nearby? He steps back, as if bracing himself for what comes next. "Perhaps this is a decisive factor, Monica. It's more than merely the words you expressed. It's about the reality of your feelings." I prepare to voice my disagreement, yet the words elude me. He has never exhibited such seriousness, such steadfastness, and it dawns on me that perhaps, for the very first time, he's pondering our relationship. He stands there, gazing at me with those critical eyes. "All right, if he chooses to take this route, I'll go along with it. If you feel this uneasy about some light-hearted conversation among friends, perhaps it reflects more on you than it does on me. I'm sure your friends have said much worse about their girlfriends. In reality, we do not." He responds in a hushed tone. "We honor the confidentiality of our partner." Oh, come on. My cheeks are starting to flush with warmth. Don't put on airs. It's often the case that guys can be much more extreme than girls regarding conversations in the locker room. I was merely having a laugh with my closest friends. I didn't share on social media, after all. It seems you're missing the point, aren't you? What are you referring to? That you're being excessively sensitive? You're transforming a light-hearted girl's night chat into an overwhelming spectacle. Indeed, I grasp it completely, he asserts with conviction. I'm moving a bit, easing my voice, experimenting with a new strategy. "Darling, let's go. It's clear how much you mean to me. It's clear that my choice was you. Why allow this to affect you? If there were greater confidence in our relationship, this wouldn't even be a concern. Yet, there's an unsettling vibe in the air this evening. Typically, when I take on this approach, he becomes more receptive. At this point, he would usually be expressing regret. Yet, he gazes at me as though I am an unfamiliar face. You didn't select me, Monica. You chose to be with me. Your words were precisely that. It was merely conversation. I declare, irritation seeping into my tone. Why are you behaving this way? People often express their frustrations about their relationships from time to time. It feels as though you're portraying my actions as a significant betrayal, when in reality, I simply engaged in a typical conversation with my friends. A dull ache begins to pulse in my head. This isn't how it was meant to play out. He was never supposed to catch any of that. Even if he had, his reaction is unwarranted. He should grasp it to release it. You're definitely exaggerating this, I assert, attempting to take charge of the circumstances. If you take a moment to relax and consider it logically, yet it's evident in his expression. I feel like I'm losing this struggle. To be frank, it's becoming quite frustrating. Who does he believe he is, trying to make me feel guilty for having a private conversation with my friends? This behavior is entirely typical. Isn't he the one acting oddly about it? The living room seems more confined this evening, saturated with a disquieting tension I've never felt prior. I find myself here, striving to help him understand that I am not the issue. Timeless maneuver. My gaze falls upon the engagement ring lying on the coffee table. I always remove it during girls' night, saying it gets caught on my friends' outfits when they embrace. It's amusing how clarity emerges when we look back on things. Everyone discusses their friendships, but I can't help but interject, my tone laced with superiority. It's perfectly natural. All right, he responds, maintaining a calm tone. Would you be comfortable if I disclosed personal aspects about your body to my friends? Should I mention that your box is quite spacious and not very snug? Drawing a comparison to my previous partner? How I came to choose you. The expression on her face is utterly invaluable. Her lips part and shut, grappling to articulate a reply. That is entirely distinct. In what way? I dare you. For reasons that may not be immediately clear, it simply exists as it does. Divine. What makes this so challenging? I nearly chuckle, yet I restrain myself. Have you ever thought about this, Monica? You don't regret saying those things. You're simply regretful that I caught wind of their conversation. I'm truly sorry that you had to hear that. I anticipated your reaction, and now it feels like you've exaggerated the situation when it's really quite trivial. Is there really nothing? What about our closeness? My confidence? My self-respect? Is it all meaningless to you? The sharpness of that idea envelopes me, offering a disquieting tranquility. May I pose a question to you? I inquire, inching nearer to the coffee table. If it truly means nothing, then why is it so difficult for you to respond to my inquiry? Why is it off limits for me to discuss your body with my friends? Reveal personal insights? How do you measure yourself against other women? That is entirely different. Her voice escalates, a sense of urgency creeping in. When women converse, it carries a unique essence. We exchange ideas. We uplift one another. By ridiculing your partners and evaluating their bodies as if they were products on a shelf, everything is being distorted. She's completely on guard now, her demeanor becoming steely. This is precisely why discussing certain matters with you feels impossible. You seem to be quite sensitive, negative. I interrupted her, catching us both off guard with my decisiveness. There are topics we can't discuss because I feel a lack of respect from you. At some point, you concluded that I was your secure alternative, your contingency, the unexciting yet dependable selection. That's not the case. She raises her objections, yet I raise a hand to silence her. Let me put it this way, Monica. I lift her engagement ring from the coffee table and place her apartment key next to it. I refuse to be a second choice for anyone. Her eyes grow large with understanding, the fear unmistakable on her face. Ben, you're being absurd. We can't just discard everything we've built because of one foolish discussion. Indeed, you are correct. It transcends a single dialogue. It revolves around honor. Confidence, the cornerstone of our collaborative endeavor. I rotate the ring in my palm, seeking her expression. Be truthful with me. If Alistair were to call tomorrow and express that he has changed and wishes to settle down, her quietness is overwhelming. I had the same impression. Ben, I kindly ask you. Her voice takes on a gentle tone, filled with a sense of urgency. You're simply experiencing some self-doubt. We can navigate this together. I will reach out to the girls. They'll insist it was insignificant. That's precisely the issue at hand. I slipped the ring into my pocket. Do you really believe this is merely a matter of insecurity? It certainly isn't. It's about possessing the self-worth to distance myself from those who fail to appreciate me. And there you have it. Her tone becomes sharp. Are you really going to discard everything just because your pride took a hit? Absolutely not, Monica. I'm stepping away because you've revealed your true self and your feelings towards me. I am worthy of more than being an afterthought in someone else's life. I pivot to face the door. Her words pursued me like arrows. You're being a bit dramatic. This is absolutely wild. You're discarding 5 years for no reason. Yet with every stride I make, a sense of buoyancy envelopes me. The fury dissipates, giving way to a sensation that resembles liberation. At times, the most challenging choices are also the most evident. As I shut the door, her sobs begin to fill the air. A month ago, that sound would have summoned me back in an instant. This evening, it only reinforces that I am on the right path. Certain shattered pieces are not destined for repair. This is truly unbelievable. The door barely clicks shut when I reach for my phone, my hand trembling as I send a message to Nancy and Maria in our group chat. Urgent situation. Ben caught every word. He's departing from my life. Reach out immediately. The three-way call establishes a connection almost instantly. My mascara is running, but truthfully, I'm feeling more anger than sorrow. He's utterly gone, I inform them, as I pace around my living room. He returned home with an air of superiority regarding our discussion, as if we had done something wrong or crossed a line. I could really use your assistance in resolving this issue. What would you like us to accomplish? Nancy inquires. I am uncertain. Should I give him a call? Let him know we were just having some fun. Is that how everyone speaks? My voice trembles. He grasped the ring. Can you believe it? He really took it back. Perhaps if we all express our regrets, Maria will take the first step. I stand by my decision. I react impulsively, then regain my composure. No, I require their support. Honestly, we didn't do anything wrong. This is completely typical conversation among friends. He is the one displaying insecurity and acting unreasonably. Yet, with each word I utter, the queasy sensation in my gut intensifies. The expression in his eyes as he departed was something I had never witnessed before. This situation is different from our previous disagreements, where I could charm him back or evoke guilt for his actions. Oh dear, I collapse onto the couch. Can you imagine the effort it took to finally get him to pop the question? Can you even fathom the amount of time I dedicated to him? Half a year of subtle suggestions. 3 months of casually placing bridal magazines around. 2 unintentional strolls by jewelry shops. All that effort vanished. All due to one foolish girl's night. Perhaps he simply requires some time to calm down. Nancy proposes. You simply don't grasp it. I declare with tears cascading down my cheeks now. I am 33 years old. Have you ever realized how challenging it can be to meet a man who has a stable career and genuinely desires to settle down? Who isn't residing in their parents' basement or burdened with significant debt? Maria attempts to soothe me, yet I'm in the zone. Navigating the dating scene at this stage in life, it's just a bunch of divorced men with children or those afraid of commitment who believe they're the ultimate prize for women. At the very least, Ben was. I pause, remembering his words. At the very least, he maintained a sense of stability. Han, perhaps that's a piece of the puzzle, Nancy suggests softly. If your primary reason for being with him is his stability. Oh, please, not you too. I suddenly react. You were the one who inquired if I had accepted him. You were the one who mentioned Alistair. The line is filled with an uncomfortable stillness. This situation is dire. I whisper to myself, gazing at the emptiness of my bare ring finger. I fear I might find myself in solitude. Most likely end up solitary in a small apartment, surrounded by a multitude of cats. Is this truly what you desire for me, Ben? I raise my voice in the solitude of the vacant space. Am I destined to transform into an eccentric cat enthusiast? The vibration of my phone interrupts the silence. A message from Ben. I will come by tomorrow to collect my belongings. Kindly ensure they are prepared. Absolutely not. I begin to type, erase, and type once more. Is an apology necessary? Accuse the wine? Should I evoke a sense of guilt in him? Inform him that he's discarding 3 years for no reason? Ladies, I say into the phone, please take a moment to listen to what I have to say. When Ben arrives tomorrow, I need you both present. It's important for us to help him see that he's being overly dramatic. This is simply the way girls communicate. Monica, Maria interjects. Perhaps we ought to refrain from rushing. All right. I ended the call abruptly. What a surprise those friends turn out to be. I burst into the bathroom, gazing at my reflection. 33. The figure mocks me. Indeed, Ben had his flaws. Certainly, there are moments when I long for a bit more thrill from him. Yet he was meant to be my shield, my assurance that solitude wouldn't be my fate. Unwise. Foolish. Foolish. I whisper, clearing the smudges from my tear-stained cheeks. This isn't how it was meant to unfold. He was never meant to uncover the truth of my feelings. He was meant to remain in his cozy little world, appreciative that someone like me had picked him. Selected. Accepted as is. Indifferent. Divine. What should I say to my mother? She was in the midst of organizing the wedding, and my younger sister is set to tie the knot in June. I can't be the only one attending her wedding alone. I simply can't. Esteemed audience, we invite you to express your insights in the comment section below. Remember to show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing.